Hey guys, Dr. Sean here again. We're going to talk about nutrition today. And what is it? You know, there's a big myth that taking bunches of vitamin C or B's and zincs and E's and D's and all is nutrition. And kind of not. And what's interesting about it, nutrition actually has a definition. The AMA puts out kind of a definitive guide on what certain terms mean. And so when we look at their definition of what nutrition actually is, it's the science of food, how the body digests that food, how that food is then absorbed, how that absorption crosses the gut wall and then gets transported to a cell, utilized by the cell. The cell then generates a waste. That waste is then removed from the body. That is the legal definition of nutrition. Now, how many people know something about that? Well, let's break it down. So when we look at nutrition in general, we know, all right, diet is a big player. It's the first piece. Then we have to digest that food. Now, once we digest it, again, we're going back into, all right, now we have to absorb that food somehow across that gut wall. Now, once we pull the food in, once it's been all ripped apart and broken down and pulled in, the body has to somehow transport that food to the cell. The cell then has to try to utilize that food. And finally, it generates a waste that must be removed. So let's look at this for a second. That's the definition of nutrition. Let's look at the healthcare field. And if you look at all these pieces, how many people focus on diet? That piece right there. I would bet roughly 95% of the practitioners out there today know something about diet. Proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals. They're all up here. But as we drop down the list, the herd gets smaller rapidly. How many know something about digestion? Of the 95%, I would bet less than 5%. And it goes down from there, less than 1%, and it just keeps dropping. This is what makes the work that we do so special. Lots of people can change their diet. Lots of people can alter what they eat or what they consume. But it doesn't always work. And you've all been out there, right? I'm eating better, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't know why I'm still tired. I don't know why I'm still sick. My doctor gave me all these vitamins and minerals and did this test on me. It said I'm zinc deficient and did a hair analysis. Nothing wrong with those things. But it's not really understanding nutrition. I've taught this now for the better part of almost 2 decades with one of my mentors, Howard Loomis. He taught me. I've taught for him. Thousands of doctors. We've educated on not just diet, but the pieces of it. This is not what sunk the Titanic. It was the large chunk below the waterline that put that boat on the bottom. It's what they didn't see. So in our practice, when I talk about nutrition and people will say, well, you know, I'm taking vitamin C and they'll be coming with bags of supplements, but they don't feel any better because they have no concrete way of knowing, does that body need it? It's not the case here. We run a 24-hour UA. The urine test tells me what the body's holding on to and what it's throwing away. So I get some idea of what kind of game your body's trying to play. If you're standing there on a polo field with a baseball bat, you're in trouble. It's the wrong option. You're on the wrong field. Your physician has to know, what game is this body playing? So this is where we start. Then we run exams. We do a fasting exam and a non-fasting exam where we touch. We palpate the body. You can tell where the body's getting pushed too hard. There are reflexes, and if you know what to look for, it will guide you. I don't have to have all kinds of fancy machines and tests and things like that. You don't need it. They didn't have it 1,000 years ago when they were healing people. They're great, they're nice, they're an adjunct. But sometimes taking the doctor out of the treatment and relying more on machines and things of that nature can get you in trouble. It's no different when you adjust. I've had chiropractic in my family for over 100 years. My grandfather was friends with the gentleman that invented it and his son. Both of my uncles are in the profession. I have a great uncle that was a medical doctor. It's in the family. So we do things very differently. We do things the way they're supposed to be done, in my opinion. Doesn't mean other doctors aren't going to help you. But when you're stuck and you don't know what to do, go back to this. Ask your doc. Hey doc, what do you know about transportation to a cell? What do you know about how a cell utilizes things? Crickets? I thought so. I'm Dr. Sean.